Hi guys, I'm with Brousseau from the Pineapple Teeth to talk about the new album It Leads to This, which will be released tomorrow,
Yeah,
9, 9 February. so, uh,
yeah.
so how do you feel at the eve of this release?
Feel really, really positive actually. We just because I've literally been rehearsing this week with the full band, and so we've been playing the new stuff, and the new songs just feel so good to play and to sing, and so I just can't wait. I can't wait for people to hear it. I can't wait to get out on the road and play them. So yeah, good, positive.
Okay, so this album is the first real new album, if I can say, since Versions of the Truth with new tracks. How
Yes.
did you approach the composition of the of this album?
Yeah, it's interesting because it started in the middle of pandemic.
Yeah.
So we started in the traditional way that a lot of bands do it nowadays. You know, I've got a studio, Gavin's got his studio. In fact, we've all got studios, everyone in the band. So we tend to hibernate in our studios, talk to each other like we're talking now, and share songs. So the songs develop by I would come up with a riff, I'd send it to Gavin, he would do some ideas, send it back to me, and that worked really well. And that's how we've always done it. But the what was good about this one is that Gavin said, let's try doing it, let's mixing it up. When the pandemic ended, he said, let's try writing together in the same room. And I thought, oh, yeah, okay, let's give that a go. I've never ever done that, since I was like 18. So I drove to Gavin's house and sat in his room. I remember driving up there thinking, if this doesn't work, it's going to be the longest week of my life. We're sat there looking at each other, going, "This jamming in E," But luckily it worked really well. It was really intense. I'm not used to it. When you're working on your own, Gavin will send me an idea, and I'll just go, "Well, that sounds good." Go for a walk, have a lie down, try some things. A couple of days later, I'll send him back what I come up with. When you're in the same room, he does something and he's looking at me going, "Bruce, yeah, I like that. Yeah, do that. And it's like, oh. So a week of that, I was like, absolutely shattered. But we wrote about half the album in that fashion. So yeah, it was quite a journey, the whole thing.
Okay. So you spoke about Gavin. Gavin, I listen, your drummer is more and more involved in writing songs. What does he bring to the band?
Well, I think the big thing with Gavin is that we've got to know him. I think he's really integrated now with the band. John and Steve, I've known them for 25 years, so there's a very, very close relationship.
Mm-mm.
We've only known Gavin since 2016, and so it's taken a while to get to treat him like I would treat, the average guy. It was always like, oh, Gavin. So now it's like, we got a really fresh, honest relationship. And I think what happens with the writing is that it generally starts with me with some ideas, but then Gavin will come on because the drums are so important, and he's very good at chopping and arranging things. And obviously you've got one of the best drummers in the world in your band. You're gonna use it, I'm not gonna tell Gavin how to drum or anything like that. I'm going to say, do what you want. Let's see what you bring. And but I mean, it's not just obviously me and Gavin. It's very much a band. The way that we produce and arrange the songs and how they come together, it's very much the whole band is given a complete open book, a blank canvas.
Okay, so in this album, there are many questions about the world today. You released the title track on the video last week, and under the video is written a small text with this sentence: "There's a positive message from this." Despite everything that is happening in the world today, are you still optimistic?
Yeah, you got to be, and that's the thing. You look at the world and you put the news on, and I kind kind of have a lens of my family. You know, as I'm getting older, I look at the world through the lens of my children. I'm sure lots of people do. And you think, what is happening? And what is the future going to bring? I mean, it's all right for me. I've kind of lived a lot of my life. But my children, they've got this whole future. And like, what's happening? You know, what is going on in this world? It is terrifying. And I didn't think we'd go into 2024 in such a dire state. You know, when we did Versions of Truth in 2021, it was bad enough, and now it's even worse. And you think, wow, this is scary. But I still have a huge amount of faith in human nature and the human race and good people. You know, and generally the people who I meet are good people. So there's a really positive. That does make me feel positive, and that message is in the album.
Okay. And what about the song and the video, The Frost? The video almost made me cry. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I said to George Laycock, who produced the video, I said, just interpret the song however you want. Yeah. And because we've worked with him since, well, for 5-6 years now. So I just trusted him to come up with this. And so when we all watched it, we were like you, we were like, wow, you know. And at the end, it was like the ending was like, is he dead? Is he alive? Yeah. It's a good ending, you know. It was perfect. It was perfect.
Yeah, and all the landscape and the
yeah, because he went to Iceland.
Really
yeah, it was all shot in Iceland.
Yeah. But you on the video, you're only on the TV. You were in Iceland too?
Oh, I'm reading the news. Yeah. yeah. That was funny. He just put me in this room and made me pretend to be a newsreader. He said, "Bruce, have you got anything, smart, like a suit and a tie?" And I said, "Oh, no." Well, dig something out. But yeah, so I found an old suit and tie and did my best newsreader impression.
Okay. I found that the album is globally softer. Is it a sign of wisdom or old age, maybe?
I think if you compare it with Versions of the Truth, I think it's probably a bit. I mean, it's obviously not a metal album, but it's a rock album. You know, and it gets quite powerful. But I love to have the light and the shade. You know, and it probably is. It probably is an age thing. I think you're right.
Okay. So you will start the European tour on February 20th. And soon, and we will have the chance to see you in France, in Paris, Lyon, and Strasbourg. So
and Toulouse.
And Toulouse.
As well.
Toulouse. How are you preparing for this tour?
Well, as you said, literally just come back from rehearsals this week. So we're hoping to play most of the new record and obviously a lot of the back catalogue. It's great having such a big back catalogue because you can just, you know, it's just such a lovely thing, or difficult to figure out what to play.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's we've been together a lot over the last sort of 3 or 4 weeks. So it's been a lot of fun. And it's really nice because this is the first tour that we've done clear of the pandemic. So the last time we did the European tour, it was during the pandemic. You know, it was when restrictions were opened up. So we were ending up playing. It was different in France, but in Germany, people were having to get tests to come in and masks everywhere. It's easy to forget that it was only a few years ago that you had to wear masks to a venue.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really nice. It's going to be really nice. So I can't wait. And the French crowds, they're just so special, really special. And I can't wait to go back to the Élysée Montmartre in Montmartre.
Montmartre, yeah.
Yeah, it's one beautiful place.
Yeah. Do you have a special memory from a tour, or something funny, or
what, the last tour?
Last tour, yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess the biggest thing was, especially in France, but when we played in Paris, I always remember it was the first time, you could tell it was the first time that people had come to a show since the pandemic, since they were all locked down. and you could see the look on the faces in the crowd that they were just so relieved that they could be in the room together with other people watching a band. And I remember I was reading it out in French, and I said, "Put your hands up," and they all went, "Put your hands up." I said, "No, put your hands up if this is the first time you've been to a show in a long time." And everybody put their hand up, and they just cheered and laughed, and it was brilliant. It was such a wonderful night.
I was there, I remember.
Oh, great.
Okay. One last question. One of my colleagues from United Rock Nation, who is a big fan of you and who released the review of the album last week, wanted to ask you a question.
Okay.
Here is the question. Isn't it annoying to have such class and talent?
do you know what? I was speaking to my bandmates in the van because we were driving back from the rehearsal, and they said, "Do you get asked all the same questions?" And I said, "Yeah," but I said, "Is there any really good questions you've ever been asked?" And I said, "I don't know." And I said, "Well, that's it. I'm going to tell them." Is it annoying? Oh yeah, it's really difficult to live with. Just having this amount of talent in class.
And sense of humor.
Yeah. Brilliant. Tell him thank you very much. That's the best question ever.
Okay, you will hear it. Okay. So, but thank you, Bruce, for this interview. And so we will see you very, very soon in France. So
yes, see you. Yeah, see you there.
Okay, thank you. Have a great evening.
Cheers.
Bye bye.
Cheers, thanks. Bye. Bye.